For many years I've been preparing to live a nomadic lifestyle, and finally this year I'm ready to hit the road with my off-grid caravan, border collies and 2 chickens. As we packed and prepared for our departure to head south for cooler weather, disaster struck, teaching me one final lesson before I leave my comfort zone. To stay vigilant, but most importantly, that I'm actually ready for the adventure ahead. The night before my departure, while I slept, a flash flood swept through, and I frantically had to hitch the caravan in knee-deep water, taking it to higher ground. Oh my gosh guys, what a week. Just got my knife in my pocket because you just never know when you're going to get attacked by a wild pig or a wild dog, or when a highly venomous snake is going to come along. What a week it's been, my gosh. As you guys saw at the start of this video, I went through another historic flood. So a lot of people might say, Amy, why did you park your caravan on a property that's flooded before? Didn't you learn the first time round? Well, yes I did. However, this time no one predicted that we were going to get that amount of rain in such a short period, and it also happened in the middle of the night when everyone was asleep. So I woke up at about midnight and the rain was really heavy. I opened my door and there was basically a flash flood, I guess that's what you'd call it. So it's not something that happened gradually over time, it just all happened really quickly, and within like half an hour or less, the water actually came up from the creek that runs through the property where I live. But yeah, no one predicted we were going to get that amount of rain, which was about, I think people are saying 350 mils, some people are saying up to 400 mils in the space of 3.5 hours. No one predicted we were going to get the amount of rain that we did, especially in such a short amount of time. Because it was the middle of the night, everyone was asleep, including myself, and I woke up to really heavy rain, and I thought to myself, gosh, that's really heavy, and it's been going for a while now. The water pretty much came up to the height of this table, so nearly the wheel height of the caravan. The dogs, Edge and Luna, I threw them in the back of the car. I made a visual marker of where the water was and kept checking to see like if it's coming up and how quickly it's coming up, and if it was coming up like really fast, then I would have just had to make the decision to leave the caravan and just get ourselves out so that we survived. I was shaking, my mouth went really dry, I felt nauseous, like I was going to vomit, because that was very traumatic. Like I was asleep and just woke up. It was like a nightmare. I'm like, is this real life, or am I dreaming? That's honestly how it felt. Anyway, I towed the van out of the property through flood water, which was also stressful, but I knew how deep the water was where I was towing it, because obviously I knew the property and I could see the fence line with the headlights to see how deep it was going to be. My main worry while I was doing that was, oh, is the caravan or car going to get bogged? And if that was the case, then I would have just had to like carry the dogs out of the car to safety, because I didn't even, like when I got them out of the caravan, I didn't even let them jump out in the water. I carried them to the car. Anyway, I got the caravan out, thankfully, and then just parked on the side of the street up the road and just sat there for like 2 hours thinking, kind of trying to process what just happened. So I was actually going to leave on the 29th of January, but we had a lot of rain, and I thought it's best not to tow the caravan in the rain, so I decided to stay an extra day and plan to leave the next morning. But it was that night that this flood event happened. Anyway, so lucky I had most of my stuff packed in the car ready for the next morning anyway, so my bike wasn't in the shed, it was on the back of the car. Solar panels, all of that sort of gear wasn't just like lying around outside or in the shed, which also flooded on the property. Like the whole property, left to right, like I'll show you some drone footage, and as I'm like flying up the driveway, left to right was completely full. To the far right in this footage, it was probably about knee deep, and that's where I managed to tow the caravan out sort of towards that right hand side of the property, on the right of the driveway. But the driveway, everything was completely under. In this footage, I took it the next day, so the water had actually dropped down a lot. After that, I hitched up the next morning, so Wednesday, the 31st, I hitched up and took off, and here I am now. So I've travelled over 500 kilometres away from where I live, and now I'm staying at a really beautiful secluded hip camp called Platypus Cove, which sits on the banks of the Deepwater River, which is known for fly fishing, kayaking. There's some really big fish in there. I personally don't fish. I feel too bad for the fish, to be honest, even though I do eat fish. I just couldn't bring myself to catch a fish and actually kill it. I just feel really terrible doing that. But if you guys live around here or you want to visit this region, I highly recommend coming to stay here. It's so beautiful. It's very quiet. There's no traffic. I haven't heard any planes, no trains, nothing like that. It's a nice temperature. I think last night of an evening as I was going to bed, it was about 19, and that's the middle of summer. It's well maintained. I haven't seen any snakes. There's fire pits, and you can actually go like swimming and kayaking, and as I said, fishing as well in this river, which lies just behind the caravan here. Alright, we're all packed up from this site and we're ready to hit the road and travel. I think it's like another 3 or 4 hours south towards Tamworth. And on the way, just around the corner at Deepwater, the town, we're actually going to find a freshwater tap to fill up the caravan, because having full tanks kind of helps with my weight distribution in the caravan as well when I'm towing. So yeah, that's what we're going to go and do now.
As I continued to head south, I visited some important people, including surprising one very special person in particular, my nan.
If you're interested in seeing behind the scenes exclusive content, your name mentioned in my video credits, or early access to my YouTube videos, you might like to consider becoming a patron. By becoming a patron, you're not just joining a community, you're also financially supporting my video production and my nomadic lifestyle moving forward. To become a patron, follow the link in my description below this video. Until next time, thank you for your support, and I'll see you in my next episode.